And we're back. Well, I'm back. You probably never left. So, did you miss me? In a previous video, I showed you some mods that let you remove the Pip-Boy from your forearm and thus allow you to see your incredible outfit in all its glory. But you still had to re-equip the Pip-Boy if you wanted to manage your inventory or check your stats. But that is the case no more, because now you can have a Pip Pad instead. That's right, your very own pad style device to manage your inventory. It really is actually a kind of cool looking device. It does look a little more like a handheld, I don't know what you call it, like an iPad, a Fallout style iPad, but it does suit the game. It still has that clunky metallic dial look about it. The display seems a little smaller than for the Pip-Boy, but that doesn't really bother me too much, and you can alter the field of view for the Pip-Boy, I believe. I'm not sure how to do that, so you could make it larger. It seems to work just fine with sorting mods, things like Valderkills, Def UI, and it works fine with the Pip-Boy tweaks I've made to get rid of all of the static effects. Holotapes work perfectly. Indeed, Pip-Pad comes with its own holotape that you should probably use if you want to uninstall this mod some point in the future. Just click uninstall before you remove the mod, but it also allows you to change the slot in which this item could be found, which will help you make it more compatible with other mods. I don't really need to use it because I'm not using any mod that is causing any incompatibility issues, but you do have that option. If I turn so that the sun illuminates the front, you can see the texture is really good. It's got a slight worn look to it, but there are already texture replacer mods for this. You've got the rugged Pip-Boy texture, the Nuka-Cola retexture, which I think looks very cool indeed, and even a Tron Boy retexture, which, yes, there you go, it actually glows in the dark. But in all other ways, it behaves exactly like your normal Pip-Boy. It's just a little more, I don't know, cool looking, a little more modern, and of course, when you put it away, it isn't sat on your arm, making your outfit look terribly unstylish. Plasma weapons are extremely powerful, and they have this kind of B-movie space gun vibe going on. It's kind of silly, but it works. Except when it's a pistol. When it doesn't quite work because, well, let's face it, it looks like a Dalek got drunk and woke up in a compromising situation with a hairdryer. I mean, this thing does not work. At least not for me. And that is where the Plasma Cycler comes in. It is a plasma weapon that looks a little different. It's got a very definite metal look to it. It is still quite a chunky hand weapon, but it resembles a revolver more than a megaphone. It definitely seems to block the view less than the standard plasma pistol, which is not really surprising, and it does have a good look even in the first person view. It also sounds pretty good. It's got a very similar sound to the plasma rifle and pistol, but it seems to be a little lower key and a little longer. You can modify a few things, but it will always be a pistol. There is only a comfort grip and a normal grip. There is a reflex sight, but be warned, once you attach the reflex sight, well, I could not remove it. So once you've got the reflex sight, it's not coming off, at least in the current iteration of the mod. As you can see, it just won't let me take that off. It has an accelerator, which basically is the muzzle, and you can have one that increases the projectile speed, one that suppresses the sound, the suppressor suppresses the sound, but it does not make it silent, which I like. and even one that splits the beam into 3 bolts, which is more like a handheld shotgun, I guess. Pay attention to the choice of receiver. You do have max charged, overcharged and standard, which work pretty much as you would imagine, but the short-circuited one actually allows you to fire the weapon a lot faster. You do slightly less damage, but you will fire much faster, as fast as you can press the button on your mouse or your controller. It also has a far larger magazine capacity, so this kind of links the receiver and the magazine together. It uses the same animations as the 44 revolver, which does mean when you take the weapon out for the first time, it will look like you are spinning the cylinder, which looks a little strange because this does not seem to have a cylinder to rotate. But that's the only issue I found with this weapon. In pretty much most other ways, this weapon behaves exactly the same way as a plasma pistol would. It feels like a plasma weapon, it behaves like a plasma weapon, it just looks a little more like a pistol. Another mod that grabbed my attention is called Ultra Interior Lighting, and no surprise, it is an interior lighting overhaul mod. And I have to say, this mod makes a huge difference to the way things look. It really is a lot more realistic. I don't know how many places have been changed, but I did find a hell of a lot where there were way more shadows, and that's what this mod does. It's not just a tweak of light levels or, removing fog, that type of thing. This mod changes the lighting in interiors so it has far more realistic shadow casting lights. You can see this clearly in some of the shots here where without the mod there are just no shadows in places there should be. I personally didn't notice any drop in performance, maybe 1 or 2 frames here and there, but that's all within the margin of error. However, I would say it's going to drop the performance in some places on some systems. You've just got more light sources casting shadows. You're going to have to try it out to see if it works for you. But if it does, if you can run this without noticing any performance drop, it really is worth it. And if you're worried about the game being too dark with a mod like this, I wouldn't. It generally seemed about compatible light levels with and without the mod, just with shadows. Some scenes were darker and some were actually lighter, but overall it seems to be pretty similar. So you're still going to be able to see, it's just what you are seeing looks more realistic. Now, I do appreciate it has been a while since I made one of these mod vaults, but I have been busy making my own mods, and I hope you don't mind if I give a small plug for those mods. I made 2 mods, a full version of Immersive HUD, which performs a lot faster and a lot better, a lot more reliably than the Immersive HUD Lite mod I created, and I also created a mod called Power Armor HUD, which replaces the Power Armor dashboard effect with something that looks more like a heads-up display. I won't go into many details here. I have done separate videos for those. If you're interested in those mods, go and click on those videos and you'll find out all about them. And that is it for this video. As you can see, I'm finishing with some of the screenshots that you guys have been posting. Thank you for continuing to do so in my absence. I do appreciate it. They are absolutely superb. If you're interested in posting an image for me to use in one of my videos, I will leave a link down below that will take you to a video that will tell you exactly how you can do that, and let me thank you in advance for doing so. Assuming nothing else comes up that demands my attention, I will be back pretty soon with another mod vault with a lot of great mods to share with you, and I'd love it if you could join me for that video. I look forward to seeing you there, and until then, remember as always, have fun. If you're curious as to whether I've covered a mod in one of my videos, feel free to go along to my website gophersvids.com and check the search functionality out. Just type the name of the mod you're interested in, open up the settings and filter by mods only. Click for search and you will see whether or not I've covered that mod. Click on the mod and it will also show you any of the videos this mod appears in.